So if you're an international student, you have a plan, or maybe you have already planned on how you can come to Canada, of course, this might be a good video for you to listen to and also plan ahead of time. I am very sure that this video is not something you might be looking out to see, but of course, I felt that this is an important information to come and share with a lot of you out there, because I know that so many people watches me and you guys might be looking to see this type of information. And of course, I know it's not a fantastic one. Today, I just received a message from a Canadian website regarding to international students, right? So they are going to be putting a cap in terms of number of international students that are going to be migrating to Canada. And there are other restrictions that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video that I would definitely want you to please do well to watch this very video till the very end. Do not skip any part of this video, because what I'm going to be sharing in today's video will be a great help for you, especially those that are looking at moving into Canada through as an international student. So this video might definitely go a long way for you. All right. So I'm going to go into the website of Canadian immigration website, so that we'll get to understand what exactly is the news that's dropped today. Right? It has not been so long I heard about this news, and I decided to come in here to share with you all. But remember, as I mentioned, this is not going to be a showstopper, but it's just that the government knows best. So they are trying to put a cap in terms of number of international students that come into Canada. All right. So this is website of Canadian immigration. So according to Honorable Mark Miller, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, he announced international students are vital to Canada and enrich our communities. As such, we have an obligation to ensure that they have access to the resources they need for an enriching academic experience, right? Then in Canada today, this isn't always the case. Today, we are announcing additional measures to protect a system that has become so lucrative that it has opened a path for its abuse. Through the diverse measures announced today, we are strictening the right balance for Canada and ensuring the integrity of our immigration system while setting students up for success they hope for. That is from the Honorable Mark Miller, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship. So it's for the good of international students. I know a lot of you out there will not be feeling okay. So many people have applied for schools here in Canada while they are back home. So many people have already made some arrangements thinking that they are going to be moving this year. Of course, if you have any arrangement or if you have started your application, to be honest with you, I'm not going to tell you to stop your application. Still go ahead, because there is still hope, right? Okay, so the Honorable Mark Miller, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, announced today that the government of Canada will set an intake cap on international student permit application to stabilize new growth for a period of 2 years, right? For 2024, the cap is expected to result in approximately 360,000 approved study permits, a decrease of 35% from 2023. So what does that mean? It means that they want to reduce the number of international students that come to Canada, right? And again, this is going to take for 2 years. I'm sure you that is watching this video today, I'm very sure that you might feel so down that this is going to take for 2 years. But remember, like I mentioned, there is still hope, right? That doesn't mean that they are stopping entirely, but they just want to regulate the way people move into Canada through study permits, okay? So moving ahead, in the spirit of fairness, individual provincial and territory caps have been established, weighed by population, which will result in much more significant decrease in provinces where the international student population has been the most unsustainable growth. Study permit renewals will not be implemented. Those pursuing master's and doctoral degrees and elementary and secondary education are not included in the cap. Current study permit holders will not be affected. All right, so I'm going to explain this a little while. So what this means is that for the provinces and territory, they are going to be putting a cap to them, right? Meaning they will be giving them like number of students, international students they are going to be taking. And if you fall under, maybe you are coming in for master's or doctorate degree, or maybe you are coming in as an elementary or secondary education, those people are not affected. But for those that are coming in through, maybe they want to do a program that will last for like 1 year or 2 years, those are more like people that this is going to affect, right? Okay, so IRCC will allocate a portion of the cap to each province and territory, who will then distribute the allocation among their designated learning institutions. I mentioned it now. So they are going to put a cap. What it means is that if they are going to give, like, take for instance, 10,000 international students are going to be for a particular province. So that province will now determine on their own province which of the schools that they are going to apportion maybe number of international students they are going to take per year. So that is what it means. Okay. Provinces and territories are expected to establish a process for issuing attestation letters to students by no later than 31st March 2024. During this period, the government of Canada will continue to work with provinces and territories, designated learning institutions, and the national education stakeholders on developing a sustainable path forward for international students, including finalizing a recognized institution framework, determining long-term suitability levels of international students, and ensuring that post-secondary institutions are able to provide adequate levels of student housing. So the reason behind all this is to make sure that every international student that is moving into Canada is suitable enough and they get adequate, resources and everything they need in terms of their studies and settle very well in Canada in order to better align the post-graduation work permit. So this is very important regarding to PGWP, which is Postgraduate Work Permit Program. We are changing the criteria, eligibility criteria. So what does it mean? It means that the eligibility criteria for you to get postgraduate work permit when you finish your education in Canada as an international student is also affected, meaning that the government are going to be changing the eligibility criteria. Starting September 1st, 2024, international students who begin a study program that is part of a curriculum licensing agreement will no longer be eligible for postgraduate work permit upon graduation. I'm sure a lot of people will not smile for this. Yes. So meaning that this is going to take effect by September 1st, 2024. Meaning that international students that begin their study program that is part of curriculum, that is part of a curriculum licensing agreement, will no longer have a postgraduate work permit upon graduation. So that means they won't be able to get the PGWP when they finish their education. The next eligibility criteria for the PGWP is that graduates of master's and other short graduate level programs will soon be eligible to apply for a 3 years work permit. Under current criteria, the length of a postgraduate work permit is based solely on the length of an individual study program, hindering master's graduates by limiting the amount of time they have to gain work experience and potentially transition to permanent residence. Okay, so this is like the two things that is being affected in terms of the eligibility criteria for postgraduate work permit. So meaning that if you have a short program that you are coming into Canada to study, after you finish your program, you are not going to be getting PGW anymore. In the weeks ahead, open work permit will only be available to spouse of international students in master's and doctoral programs. Meaning, if you are doing any other program that is not master's and doctoral program, your spouse will not be able to get work permits. That is what it means, right? Okay. The spouse of international students in other levels of study, including undergraduate and college programs, will no longer be eligible. They are not going to be eligible anymore. I just mentioned it now. So if you're an international student, you have a plan or maybe you have already planned on how you can come to Canada, of course, this might be a good video for you to listen to and also plan ahead of time. So if you're an international student or you are aspiring international student planning on moving to Canada, maybe with your spouse, and you have the mindset of your spouse having a work permit. I know this is not going to be an easy one, but with this, it means that there won't going to be anything like work permit anymore, except for those that are coming in as master's or doctorate program degrees. Yeah, the important measures announced today complement other recently announced reforms to the International Student Program. Taken together, they aim to ensure genuine students receive the support they require and have the resources they need for an enriching study experience in Canada, while at the same time stabilizing the overall number of students arriving and alleviating pressures on housing, healthcare, and other resources in Canada. So basically, this is the reason why this announcement was made, in order to regulate the number of international students that are moving into Canada, and also to make sure they have adequate housing, healthcare, and other resources they need that will help them in terms of settling very well as an international student in Canada. Yes, guys, I know a lot of you out there who will not like this type of news, but of course, it's better that you hear about it and know what to do. But one thing I will tell you, like I said before, if you have put any measures in terms of moving into Canada through education, of course, the government is not rolling it out completely, but it's just that they are going to minimize the number of international students that are going to be moving into Canada, meaning that they are going to be rationing it according to provinces and territories, and that will now cut down to the universities and colleges and all that. Okay, yeah, having said that, I'm going to be ending this video right here, and if you've watched this very moment and you have any further question, or there is something that is really confusing that you needed to find out, or you want to have one-on-one with me, of course, please do well to click on the link in my description box and schedule a time, and we're going to circle back to talk and also relate together. And if you have anything or any question you want to drop in the comment box, please do well to drop that in the comments, and I will be there to respond to you. Right? Thank you so much for watching this video to this very moment. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do well to click on the red subscribe button. Remember to turn on your post notification, so each time I upload a new video, you are going to be the first to get notified. Thank you. Stay blessed, stay safe until I come your way next time. Bye.